5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
All right, welcome in, everybody. All right, Pilk, we got it. Sweet 16 tonight. Big matchups. 4 more tomorrow.
I'm excited, but you are skipping one
too.
thing. You're skipping one thing, Patrick.
What's that?
What
am I
starts
skipping?
before the Sweet 16?
Well, yeah, I've made the first day of Major League Baseball, yeah.
It's opening day, baby.
A good fan would have Go Cubs Go ready to, or a good producer would have and a good fan for that matter, might have Go Cubs Go ready on cue. But here's the thing.
No, we've got a center field going to break is what we got.
Oh, okay. I got you. All right. Well, Baby Byron will be excited about that. Yes, it is. Hope springs eternal. Opening day in Major League Baseball. Cubs already in an 0-2 hole. But hey, long season, baby. Long season. Really excited about basketball tonight, Pilk. Duke and Arizona, I think, could be a sensational game. I am riding with BYU over Alabama. Bama's not been the same team the last few weeks that they were at the beginning of the year, and BYU's gotten better on offense. So I think we could see a game that is high possession, and if both teams are executing, high points, but I'm rolling with BYU. Out in San Francisco. Yeah, one of your favorite places, Pilkington. Out in San Francisco, we got some games. They are Florida and Maryland. I mean, you got to go the Gators, I think, right?
I think you do, but this is one of those games where it's like, does it end up being closer than we thought it was? I mean, I think first off, Mull was right when he said
Go Gator.
that Florida survived their scare. I think they take care of
Go
business.
Gator.
But it does seem like that game where it's like out of nowhere, Maryland, keeps it really, really close. I don't know, but that would be like the surprise.
I think it could be close. I think Maryland's Maryland is within a certain realm of 9 or 10 teams in the Ken Palm ratings that are the profile of what a national champion has been something like 22 or 3 times out of the last 25. They statistically fit that profile. So Maryland's not going to – I mean, I think that will be an interesting game tonight. I'm a little intrigued with Texas Tech and Arkansas. I think that's kind of an interesting matchup. I think these are all 4 really interesting matchups for various reasons. So I'm looking forward to hoops tonight.
One of the perks, I guess, to the no Cinderellas. I know it sounds bad. It made it for a less exciting first weekend. But, yeah, here we are. And it's like, man, any of these teams I think could win it. There's a few teams that it's like, yeah, I'd still be a little shocked. Maybe Arkansas, for example. But, there's none of these teams that if you told me at the beginning of the year, hey, they're going to make the Elite Eight or they're going to make the Final Four, I'd have been like, nah, you're crazy. Like, there's none of those teams left. These are all really good basketball teams. Texas Tech, I think, is getting healthy at the right time. We'll see how they look tonight. I think they're better than Arkansas. But, hey, man, Coach Cal's got them ready, and Coach Cal's done this before as not a favorable seed to go in there and make a run.
I'm not so sure this is culture shock for people that are Terps fans that are out there. Of course, you got people from all over the country that are fans of these teams. But, the core fans in the D.C. Metro, being out in San Francisco is not, culture shock for them. But wouldn't you like to be in the hotel lobby and observe the people from Arkansas and Gainesville, Florida, and Lubbock, Texas, and San Francisco? I mean, could you just imagine? Could you imagine the culture shock for those?
Yeah.
For those hayseeds?
I don't think I have any friends that went to Arkansas, but I know plenty of people that went to Florida. I have some friends that went to Texas Tech. Yeah, that would be. The lobby's one thing. The walking down the street, that would really be something.
Maybe in the lobby when they walk off the street into the hotel lobby. That would be
goodness. You thought Ben B. Baby Byron was culture shocked when he went to Seattle. People from Fayetteville, Arkansas, going to the Bay.
San Francisco, yeah, the Bay Area. Woof, woof. All right, so that's what's happening on the hoops front. I watched last night. I was not assigned the Duke game last night. I got reassigned off of it much earlier in the season. I'm talking about the ECU Duke softball game. You were there, Pilk. I did watch a good portion of it. Kind of had it on when I was doing some other things. And, boy, East Carolina played poorly last night. I mean, very uncharacteristically poorly. Booting the ball around, simple mistakes in the field. Didn't look like themselves at the plate. Seemed like they were pressing, especially after they got down. Was it 4-0, 5-0 after one?
4.
Yeah, I just not a good outing for Shane Winkler's team. And that I talked to Courtney Layton earlier today, who worked on the telecast yesterday, and I mean, she just thought they were pressing. She said, had they not lost to Elon, they probably would not have been pressing as much.
I agree.
And look, Duke's a very good softball team. I've done a couple Duke games this year for ACC Network Extra, and they're a good team. Don't get me wrong; they're pretty good, but they're not like they have been the last 2 or 3 years. They've been absolutely lights out. But they look like the best team in the universe last night, and I think ECU made a very good team look great.
They did. We were talking about it in the press box. It was just like, man, it's sometimes when you get in these big moments, you play worse. Did I expect Duke to win the game? Sure. Is Duke more talented? Yeah. But like you said, ECU did not play like East Carolina, and that was tough to watch. Now, one thing I will say, so obviously there were a lot of jokes cracked in the press box among our staff and the Duke staff about what had went down the night before on the baseball diamond. We all said, Shane's maybe a little more even-keeled than CG is. And,
Right.
They said Marissa Young's a little more even-keeled than Chris Pollard. And we said,
worlds.
yeah, we don't think that they're going to fight. Well, sure enough, at the end of the game, it was the greatest thing. Two teams get in a large circle in the infield. They all hold hands, and they pray together. And everybody's
That's
snapping
awesome.
pictures and sending it to our friends in the baseball department. Nobody's texting to coaches or anything, but,
maybe
to
they should
chip.
have.
And, yeah. Well, I even said that. I said, who's got the guts to put this in a group chat with Chris Pollard and CG? And Grady's like, I'm sure as heck not doing it. But we all got some good laughs out of it. I will say the Duke staff that showed up, their SID and their creative guy, I mean, they were so nice. It was so it was fun to crack jokes and have a good time with somebody. Most teams don't send people for softball. It was
Right.
fun to have everybody there.
Everybody's go, Dookie P. Oh, here goes Dookie P talking again. Either you or me. But, I've worked up there at Duke a lot, and I've always found the experience to be first class. Let me give you a quick story. My niece, who is not athletically inclined, despite the fact she will probably be the tallest Johnson. She's into jewelry and makeup. She's 6, but she's into jewelry and, dolls and makeup and dresses and that kind of thing, and Taylor Swift, and just a sweetheart of a girl. And she is, there's no, as of now, direction of towards anything athletic. But she's starting to dig softball. So when I was up there for the South Carolina series in Durham, I bought her a youth, pink softball shirt, Duke softball shirt, and was going to give it to her the next time I saw her. Well, I actually left it in the booth. And the Duke people, I emailed them that night. The Duke people, the SID, Colleen, responded like that. She said, we'll get it to her. Don't worry about it. So I was like, could you just hold on to it, and we'll figure out a time maybe when you come down to Greenville, blah, blah, blah. And she said, we'll do it. Don't worry about it. We'll do it. They FedExed it to my sister's house so my niece could get it, like within a day or two. Faster than I probably would have gotten it to her. And so, I mean, and that may seem like, what's the big deal? Trust me, Pilk, you know this too. There are a lot of places in this country where they would have never, you'd have never heard about the shirt being, and I'd bought the shirt. They didn't give it to me. I bought the shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that had been lost money in a lot of places.
Oh, for sure. And Colleen's great. She was awesome. yesterday.
She's awesome. She's great. She really is. So I'm a fan of the Duke softball team for sure. Because I think I like Coach Young. I mean, I'm a big Shane Winkler fan. But I'm a big fan of the Duke. I was a little disappointed I wasn't there to, uh, able to do that because I wanted to see that game just because there's two coaches I really enjoy and two teams I really enjoy. So I was a little disappointed I wasn't on that. All right. Let's see here. Why don't we get into a little spring football? They're back out there in helmets today. Let's see. Pilk has sent me the list here, and this was Blake Harrell after day one, his opening statement. Hit it.
I thought it was a really good day one. Guys had good energy, bouncing around, got a lot of things done. Didn't want to overload them too much day one and try to run the marathon, so to speak, on day one. We kind of want to work our way into this thing, and had a day in helmets. Thursday will be in helmets again, and then Friday we'll put the pads on, so we're going to progress up to that. But I thought the guys moved around really well. Saw some young guys taking some snaps. We made sure we went two different fields, two spots at the same time. We got about 117 guys out there. Got a few injuries, obviously, as you always do in spring, but working through those things, and it gives a chance for some younger guys to get some reps and some inexperienced guys. Obviously, you got 13 high school freshmen out there that should really be preparing for the prom, that are figuring out what a college football practice is about and which way to go. You got 17 newcomers, transfer kids out there practicing with us for the first time in a practice situation. We're trying to figure out the exact culture and the standard and the operating procedures from there. So that'll take a day or two to get that stuff ironed out. But I think overall, we're really happy with how day one went on the field from the eye test. Obviously, we have a lot of things to clean up on film, but looking forward to that, and that's why we practice, and that's why we're getting started.
All right, and Blake on the QB room with the injury to Caden Hauser.
Caden's done a phenomenal job this offseason, and not just on the field or in the weight room or taking care of his body, but, developing as a leader. And that's what I'm most proud of him right now, is just the way his mindset. A year ago, he was just a guy trying to prove that he belonged here and he could play football and sling the football around and learning the offense, those types of things. And right now you see him taking on a leadership role within not just the quarterback room, but within the offense and within our football team, and that's pretty special. And he's taking that next step. And there's several other guys that are doing that as well. And he's sitting behind the quarterback, whether it's team period, Skelly period, one-on-one period, whatever it may be, and taking every rep mentally. And me and him talking through the offense. He's teaching me a little bit of that in terminology, which is really good for me. But just really proud of him and the progression he's making. He can obviously throw the ball around a little bit and could be cleared if we were playing a real game in April and lining up, to end Dowdy Ficklin for game time. He'd be ready to go. But we obviously want to be cautious with him and a couple others in spring ball to make sure we got him full speed for next August and 28th of the month there.
Yeah, that's what's important. And then, Coach, with how things are lining up on the defensive side.
Defensively, we're just taking some things we've done in the past, some things he's done in the past, and incorporating them. And like I told the guys out there, and just kind of, having a little motivation there at the end of practice, it's not about scheme to me. It's not about X's and O's. It's about player development and developing our culture. And that's about running to the football. That's about having great energy at practice. That's about being disciplined on what we do, meaning we're going to either pick up the third down or we're not going to pick up the third down. There's no in between. And then, knowing our job, and executing our job is the final piece. So that's our focus right now, is developing that each and every day. And then obviously we got to do, get through the scheme things. But right now it's more about how we do things from an overall standpoint.
All right, and the coach talking about Sam Danka and Barker, Zakai Barker going to inside linebacker.
Yeah, Sam Danka and Jackson are both playing some new positions. A year ago we had Raheem Craig and Sam Danka at the same position, and Jackson Barker as well. And I thought three guys that are older young men who have played for us, played valuable snaps, all are good football players, and they're too good to be playing behind each other. And, we just need to try to get as many guys that are our best 11 on the field, and we're going to try every single way to do that as possible, is put them on the edges, put them at linebacker, whatever it may be. So, fired up about Sam and what he's done so far, and Jackson as well. And they're older guys that are taking on, different roles in our football team and doing a really good job of it.
All right, Blake's thoughts. Let's skip down to get his thoughts on the pro day.
We had 22 young men out there for pro day, 20 guys who were on our squad last fall. And just, as they walk in the building, as they walk back on campus, whether it was today or this past weekend, and just seeing their smiles and how happy they were to be around. And they were actually a bunch of them at practice today. And I told our players, I said, the reason they come to practice, the reason you have excitement for them in the weight room. I had several scouts come up to me today in the weight room. We're running 40s. They're doing the broad jump, whatever it may be. And our players are just pulling for each other and excited for each other. And generally we want to see them succeed. And that's because they care about each other. And that's our culture. That you got guys that care for each other, pull for each other, and they want to see each other be successful.
And when asked if he would be open to a joint practice.
Anytime you have an opportunity to line up against somebody across the other side of the field from you and have an opportunity to compete, it's going to make you better. And I think it would be great for college football. It'd be great for our fan base and great for our players and development too. I mean, you're working, so many times you're working against each other, and that does help improve you, and you try to build that competition. But if you can have an opportunity to go compete against another football team, another program, it gives you something to prepare for. And anytime you can step on, in Dowdy-Ficklin or on the game field and simulate as close as possible as a game day in the fall, that's really important. So I'm not sure where to go in spring ball. I doubt we go that direction. I could see us going more of the other direction, kind of the NFL style and free agency, maybe in the spring, and OTAs kind of later in May, June. So who knows? I'm not a fortune teller, but I do have a lot of answers for all the transfer portal stuff.
Yeah, that's a fascinating thing there. And I think with the, would we call it cancellation, Pilk, of all the spring games around the Fruited Plain, I think what we're going to start to see, or what we should start to see, is we should start to see teams that are doing like a joint mini camp like they do in the pros. You come in for 2 or 3 days, practice against one another, and that's your spring game. And I think you'd sell more. Obviously the spring game's a lot of fun. We enjoy the event. If the weather's good, the fans will be okay. But if you want to talk about something that could draw 20,000 at least to Greenville, for example, do a spring game like that, like where you actually play somebody. I actually think that's what you ought to do with the FCS games. You ought to play those in the spring.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that, especially the joint practices, if nothing else. You're right, from a revenue standpoint and getting fans excited, I 100% agree with everything you just said. And I'm also going to build off that and say, look, man, the NFL coaches talked about how much they learned about their team, even more so in these joint practices, and they even do in a preseason game. There's so many times you'd say, you know what, we want to see that again, put the ball in the right hash, 3rd and 3, can you give us a bare front here so that we can't run up A gap with that stuff? We want to see something, and then boom, and then you do it. And how much you could benefit from that if you were able to do that against, obviously not this year Coastal, but against Old Dominion, Duke,
right, exactly, yeah.
Carolina. Obviously not State this year, but there's so many teams geographically that makes sense, where I think sending all the equipment that was needed for practice would not be too much of a strain on the equipment guys. I think this is a great idea, and it could be a wonderful opportunity for all of the players involved.
Now, I do think with that, we got to get this with the football especially, you got to get the portal and the football schedule more where there's a free agent period or a portal period. And they're kind of doing that in the future. But, I mean, to me, I think these spring games not even being played because coaches are worried about whatever coaches are worried about, more the portal than anything else. To me, I think that's something that's got to be kind of figured out and addressed. To me,
100%. Oh, yeah, 100%. With all the sports. But the tough thing is the academic calendar doesn't line up 100% with the football calendar. You got to get the kids in school. It is student-athletes, not athlete-student. But they're pro athletes starting.
Athlete-students. Right,
yeah,
they're pro athletes pretty much now.
Yeah.
So, all right, tell you what, let's get a break. We are going on with our Children's Miracle Network Radiothon, and one of our old friends, Elise Ironmonger, is going to be in. We're going to talk to her about that, tell you a little bit about what's going on and how you can participate. And Mike Mullis will be with us a little bit talking Pirate baseball a little later in the show. It is opening day for MLB. It is the Sweet 16 beginning tonight. Beautiful time of year. Let's hit a break. We'll come back and have more after this.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Are you ready to tackle those yard and garden projects? Come by East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, your local Coyote dealer, and check out their great selection of residential and commercial Coyote tractors. From zero-turn mowers to compact tractors to skid steer loaders, they've got you covered. Some with 0% financing for qualified buyers. Stop by your hometown Coyote dealer, East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, across from the Pitt County Fairgrounds or online at ectfleet.com. East Carolina Tractor and Fleet. We dig dirt.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout Eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
You ready for this?
Oh, I'm very ready. Okay, ready?
You ready? Streaming to the world at 943thegame.com. This is the Patrick Johnson Show. Now in all his glory, here's the P-Man.
All right, happening this day and tomorrow all day is the 28th annual Children's Miracle Network Radiothon. 107.9 WNCT, our sister station, along with Talk 103.7 and Talk 96.3, driving this home. But we always like to try to do our part on the sports side. Elise Ironmonger, the weatherman's wife, who is a longtime friend of the show and just a longtime friend, is back with us from CMN and the Maynard Children's Hospital. Hello, Elise. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Long time no see.
I'm doing great. Yes. All right. It's that time of year again.
I know.
Milk loves it because of the food.
Yes.
But I love it because of all the wonderful stories that we get to hear. And it highlights all the great things that are being done at the right here in the community at the hospital, the Children's Hospital in Greenville. So we got less than an hour until we wrap things up today, but we have all day tomorrow.
Yep.
How can
we go
folks
until 6 p.m.
participate?
tonight. 6 p.m. tonight, and then 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow. Yeah, we are ready. We're so excited.
All right, give me an idea of what folks can do to participate. And if you've not participated today, you've had plenty of time tomorrow to do it. Go ahead and do it. But you can even do it off hours from the Radiothon. You can text, so just run through the whole litany there.
Yes. So they can definitely call in. Again, if they're calling in between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m., 1-800-673-5437. They can text ENC Kids to 51555. Or again, if they catch us after 6 p.m. and we're off the air, you can still go to www.givetocmn.com or any of y'all's websites. The link is on there too. You can donate. If you do online, we can do obviously debit card or credit card. We can do Venmo, PayPal, Apple Pay. Like, we will take your money any which way you want. But yeah, if people are calling in, I've got the sign here, phone number there, 1-800-673-5437.
Awesome stuff. All right, what for those that maybe are new to the show or new to Greenville, new to Eastern North Carolina, kind of explain what all of the money, which stays 100% local at the Children's Hospital, what it'll be going to various things that you all will utilize it for.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with CMN, 100% of all fundraising that we do, 100% of it goes to the hospital. It doesn't go to pay admin costs, salaries, paper, pens, anything like that. 100% goes to the hospital. And then 100% of that, it's decided by the hospital. So the admin, the doctors, nurses, they're the ones that decide where the money goes because they're the experts and they're the ones that are working with these kids. And so they decide where the money goes every year. And so something really cool that we funded last year, just to give people kind of an idea, was this machine called a mini C-arm. And it's basically, it's like a mobile x-ray machine that they use in the emergency department. So usually if a child came in and they were in an accident or, broken a bone or something, they would have to go somewhere else in the hospital to receive this scan, right? And again, when children have broken bones, they're very fragile and they, obviously you don't want to move them. And so because of CMN funds, we're able to purchase this piece of equipment that comes to the bedside, comes to the child. It literally, it's a C shape. So it can go over their arm or their leg, whatever. And to be able to scan and show real time to that doctor what's going on in their body and let them quickly assess and then provide that treatment right there, which is such a blessing because again, it stabilizes them so they don't have to go anywhere and so quickly allows them to just analyze and on a dime what needs to happen right now. So again, just one of those blessings that we're able to provide to Maynard Children's Hospital that we could not do without Children's Miracle Network funds.
One of the cool things that I heard about this morning was with the NICU babies, there's, I guess, a camera system.
Yes.
And the parents are assigned a code. So, because, obviously, if you have a child that is treated for 200 plus days, 300 days, which, there are cases of that.
Absolutely.
Parents have other children.
Yeah.
Parents have to get
Jobs.
back to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have real life that intervenes when smacked with these medical emergencies and tragic situations.
Yep.
A lot of this money has been spent on those, so the parent can kind of keep an eye, if you will, on their child. It's
Yeah,
at that
absolutely.
Point, that really just puts a lump in my throat. It really
I
does.
know. Well, and we serve 29 counties here in Eastern North Carolina, right? So if there's a child in those 29 counties, a baby born premature, a baby born with an existing condition, and they come to our NICU, and like you said, the parents have to go back to work, or a lot of our families are military, and so they've got parents that are overseas. And so these NICView cameras, again, and we, over the years, due to CMN funds, we are able to provide one of those cameras for every single one of the 50 NICU beds that we have.
Oh, wow.
Every single one of them has a camera. And again, yes, each one has their own safe and secure login. And again, like I always say, like I'm from the West Coast. If my baby was born and it had to be in the NICU, like I've got grandparents and parents and family members, and so I would be able to give them that login so that they can see. Or another example is we had the Davis twins were born prematurely, and their mom obviously wanted to save her PTO for when the babies got to go home, and so for quite a few weeks and months, she went back to work right away. But because of that NICView camera, she would be sitting at her desk, but have that camera up and be able to watch her babies and watch them being taken care of and watch and see that they were safe. But she was still able to go back to work. So again, just small, like it seemed, you think of a camera, but like it's such a big blessing and means so much more. And again, we could not do that without these funds.
Speaking of children, I practically watched your children grow up. It's
Right,
amazing. It's
right.
amazing.
I
How old
know.
are they now?
They are 6 and 9, which is crazy.
my
oldest,
gosh.
I know, my oldest is 4th grade, which means she only has one more year of elementary school, and I'm like not okay about that. And my little one, Iris, she's like rocking 1st grade. She's having so much fun. They both in Girl Scouts this year, which was very chaotic.
Good.
And they are just doing so well. And Charlie and I talk about this all the time. We are so incredibly blessed that we had 2 healthy babies, right? 2 very healthy. Both of them were 10 pounders, okay? Like they were very healthy. But we're so blessed and we're so lucky and we just count our stars and thank God every single day. But we know, and we think about this all the time, if they were to ever get sick, if they were to ever get hurt, like we have full confidence in this facility. The doctors and nurses are the best of the best. Because of CMN, they have the best equipment and the best programs to support these kids. So while we never, ever hope that we have to use that facility, like we are so glad that it's here and so glad for all of the donors in this community that make sure it's the best of the best.
Yeah, the Children's Hospital is a world-class facility.
It seriously
really
is. Yes, yes. And people just don't realize that we have this facility here. But it's because of our community and the support that we have here.
All right, Elise Ironmonger with the Maynard Children's Hospital. It is our Children's Miracle Network Radiothon going on for the 28th year, 800-673-5437. If you're unable to participate today, all day tomorrow, 6 until 6. Elise Ironmonger, the better half of Charlie Ironmonger, the weatherman, the meteorologist.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't just call him a weatherman. He's a
Thank
big
you.
star now. He's always reading news prompters and doing updates.
He's a busy guy. He's a busy guy. Yeah.
But he's
yeah.
no longer working on the weekends, so that's gotta be
Hallelujah.
good for you,
Hallelujah. We get our family time and his schedule. He gets off early enough to make dinner because I will admit I am not the cook. He is an amazing cook. He does the grocery shopping and the cooking. I do a lot of the scheduling, planning, and the cleaning. We're a good team.
Mm-hmm. There you go. And then did I read he's coaching ball or was? Or
Yes. Yeah. So
okay.
yeah, he coached our little ones basketball last season. It was 5 and 6 year olds. It was total chaos, but hilarious and so much fun. And right now he is coaching our oldest, Adele's soccer team. So he's got about 10, 7 to 9 year olds. Yeah. So he's able to do that with his new schedule. So we're very, grateful that he can do that. And he loves it. His high energy. I don't know who's having more fun, them or him. But yeah, he's loving it.
The thing I like about you two, the thing I like about you two is that you both are just dug in on being part of the community. I love that about
Thank you.
I mean, a lot of people in the TV world, okay, we're here today. We're here for a few minutes, and then or a couple years, and you guys.
Well, that's
have
what
made
we
it
thought.
home.
We thought we would. I mean, like I said, we're from the West Coast. We're from the Seattle area. We grew up there, and yeah, totally. When he came for this job, he signed a 2-year contract, and that's what we thought we would do. But this job, I love my job and he loves his job. And for a meteorologist, the weather is crazy here. Literally, it was 30-something degrees this morning and it's going to be, 70 tomorrow. And there's tornadoes and hurricanes and snow and all kinds of things for him. So as a, meteorologist, he loves it and it keeps on his toes all the time. But we realized that the more we were staying here, that we just love this community and we love Eastern North Carolina, and just finally decided that this is where we want to stay and raise our kids. And so we're here for a while. We, built a house. Good. And we love it, and we love this community. And thank you all so much for all that you do for all these causes, and especially CMN and the Maynard Children's Hospital. We're just so grateful.
Well, I think it's awesome. I really do. You are a great lady and a good friend, and we really love having you on to talk about this. We need to just have you on one day to talk about why Washington shouldn't be in the Big Ten. But we'll do that another time.
That'd be a Charlie question. I'll relay that to him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
he has a lot of thoughts.
We need to get Ironmonger on.
We'll get Ironmonger on. What she can do, even though she isn't as in tune maybe with the conference of sports, she can tell us why Maryland and Washington shouldn't be in the same conference. She can tell us why those places are not geographically anywhere near each other.
There you go.
That's why he's bringing that up, by the way, is because now Washington is playing Maryland.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
Right. I know. It's a whole thing.
Right. So Elise, you and Pilkington work it out. We'll get Ironmonger on one day
'Kay.
and have him talk ball with us. I think
Yes,
that would
he
be
would
his-
love
I
it.
think
He would
that'd
love
be
it.
That'd be. We need to do it on a Hold My Beer with Ironmonger, Pilk.
There we go.
Why am I
Hold
just
My Beer
thinking about
Friday.
this?
I can definitely say he would love that.
Except for when you're coaching little kids. When you're coaching little kids, you got to say "Hold my
need a beer.
Gatorade."
Right.
Well,
There
you
go.
need a beer,
Yes.
but you have to publicly say "Hold my Gatorade" because you know you're hanging out with like 10-year-olds all day.
Right. Yes.
All right, Elise. We have the CMN Radiothon going on to the top of the hour today, and then
Yep.
tomorrow,
All day tomorrow.
from 6 to 6, all day tomorrow. So if you do not give today, you can tomorrow. All right. Send everywhere where they need to go to participate in this, and give. There's no amount too small to give
Absolutely.
for this for the Maynard Children's Hospital.
Really, and again, 100%. So even if someone was like, "Well, I only have $25 right now," that's great. 25. If 10 of your friends do that, I mean, it all adds up. So again, if you're calling within the next hour, 1-800-673-5437, or give to cmn.com. Go to the website. You can do it there. If you want to be a miracle maker and do $20 a month and make it real easy, just kind of set it and forget it. You can do that there. Or if you just want to make a one-time donation, you can do that at give to cmn.com as well.
All right. Great to see you again.
You
Thank you for being
too.
with us.
Thank
Really
you so much for
appreciate it.
having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Awesome to have you on again. Elise Ironmonger, one of our favorite people to have on the program. And when we have Charlie on, he will be the second favorite Ironmonger that
Obviously.
we will have on.
Yes, of course.
Clearly the second
Clearly.
favorite Iron.
Yeah.
All right. Pilk, we got Mully in the bullpen, and we're going to talk some Pirate baseball with him. But right now, here is Philip, the ref Pilkington, with a 94.3 The Game Sports Flash update and Pirate report. Take it away, Pilk.
Thank you, P-Man. Starting in Pirate Athletics, it was a rough night on the softball diamond last night as the ladies fell to Duke 11-0. They will be back in action in the Queen City as they head down to Charlotte. They will take the bus trip today to begin a 3-game series that begins on Friday. They are currently 5-4 in American Athletic Conference play. Baseball will also be in action tomorrow. It'll be a 7:15 airtime for that 7:30 first pitch out in Houston as they take on the Rice Owls. Pirates are 3-0 in conference play after their sweep of Memphis last week, making them the only team in the American Athletic Conference to start out perfect through one weekend of play. Rice was able to grab one at another Owls place as they headed down to Boca last week and took the Saturday game, I believe it was, from the Owls of FAU. Looking elsewhere, it's a big night in college basketball. Sweet 16 getting underway from a couple spots around the country. First, it's going off in Newark, New Jersey, where BYU and Bama will do battle. The first game tonight, Bama's 5.5-point favorites. That'll be followed up by Duke and Arizona. Blue Devils 9.5-point favorites. You can hear that on our sister station, 103.7. And then there will be games at 7:39 and 10:09. That'll be out in San Francisco. Maryland and Florida will be game one. Gators 6.5-point favorites. And then in the second game, Red Raiders 5.5-point favorites over the Razorbacks. That'll do it for 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. Take a time out here on the Patrick Johnson Show. Be back with Mike Mullis on the other side.
Hey, it's Jim Wells again with Wells Roofing and Gutters here in the beautiful community of Lindale, Bedford. At Wells Roofing and Gutters, we believe in quality first, and that's why we use CertainTeed shingles, which are manufactured in Oxford, North Carolina, a local company. In the event you ever do have a claim or a problem with your roof system, they're local and they come and take care of us in a timely manner. We could leave off some accessories and we could certainly save money, but we believe at Wells Roofing and Gutters in installing the correct way per manufacturer requirements, and we warranty your roof both in-house and also with our supplier, who is CertainTeed. For a job Wells done, no shortcuts taken, and a good quality job on your home, give us a call today, 252-227-8403. We also offer financing, 12 months, no interest, no payments.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
We have you covered with all the ECU news and beyond that you need for the drive home. The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
All right, great to have Elise on with us. Pilk, we do need to, I want to get Ironmonger on one time to do a Hold My Beer Friday. We'll probably start to resume those with some regularity soon enough. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned on this show or not, but we want to congratulate Paul Cornwell. He is taking over as the director of Pitt County Athletics, and was texting with Paul earlier today. We're going to have him on sometime next week. Tomorrow on the show, Pilk, have we worked it out yet?
I've not seen the email back yet. Let me check my email again. But
okay. Tomorrow on the program, until I think, Pilk, is it fair to say and be confident to say that we've got the guest lined up? Or should we wait?
You were the one that was doing all this. I was just getting confirmation on making sure she could be here on time. You and Cole worked this out.
Well, Haley Yentz is going to be with us. If you don't know about her, she is the ECU track and field athlete who had a cardiac event and had to be revived. And anyway, they've got their Bill Carson track meet, first one they've done without my guy Kurt Kraft. So for that, we wanted to talk to her this week. So we're going to speak to her tomorrow. That's the plan. Of course, we'll have our normal show Monday. We'll have either a portion or the entirety of the Cliff Godwin interview. A couple other guests we're working on. Cornwell next week. Pilk is going to host the show next Wednesday between TV and some other things I got going on with my schedule. We're just going to have Pilk do the program that day. And then we will have hoping to get Mike Schwartz on sometime in the next week. So we're working on that as well. All right, let's go now to the phones. Mike Mullis, ESPN, ECU ESPN Plus baseball analyst, is joining us here on the program. Congrats to Conley for beating Rose in convincing fashion the other night.
Sorry, bud. Yeah, thank you. Kids played well, and always fun when those teams get together. And we'll do it again here coming up in a few weeks, and who knows what the outcome of that will be. I certainly Rose is a really solid club. Our kids just had a good night.
Well, let's talk about the Pirates. Not a great night for them. That same night, Conley was beating the brakes off of Rose, and the Pirates losing to Duke. I think just one win against 6 losses against the in-state foes so far this year, and that certainly is a bit of a tough number to swallow. The Pirates have had such success. When you look back at that game, Mully, and have talked to people about it and done your own study of it, again, you can look no further than the box score. I know sometimes Coach Godwin says this is why you don't look at box scores, but I mean, a blind man could look at a box score and see, 9 free 90s and a hit batsman. So that's 10 you put on automatically. You can't do that against quality teams.
Yeah, no, I mean, even that's the story of the season to this point, BJ. We go back to the Memphis series that we had. Going into it, in our open, the statement, the storyline was, was the Pirate pitching, and would it be stingy enough with free passes to have success in that weekend? And yeah, you're right. You give up 10 free passes, it's very, very difficult to win a game, and it's kind of interesting. I have had lots of people talk about it and ask me questions and make the comment that, man, if we don't walk those 10 people, we win that game. And I guess you could somewhat loosely make that assumption, but the flip side is if we threw enough strikes in those 10 at bats, what happens for the hitters? So, do they get hits? I don't know, but I know that free passes predetermine the fate, and you certainly 10 of them is very difficult to overcome. And we've seen the Pirates in double-digit free passes multiple times this year.
I think you'd rather, given the fact that some of these games have been tight, you'd rather have the ball put in play. Clearly. I mean, I hear what you're saying. You can't assume, but I mean that isn't helping you. It's not so much the walk; it's the fact when you compound the walk with a hit batsman or another walk, or then somebody hits a home run. I mean, there's a variety of things that go into that. When you get this deep into the season, things are more than a trend. They're the way you are heading. How do you reverse that, or can you?
I don't know. It's kind of you can certainly develop the mentality of, oh no, here we go again. If you're the pitcher on the mound that has had the control struggles, it certainly can creep in. So a lot of that is just going to be, positive reinforcement through what's going on in practice and kind of convincing yourself that, hey, it's going to be okay. And quite honestly, you got to convince yourself it's okay that, if I get hit around a little bit, to your point, I'd rather barrel the ball up a couple times and maybe we make some plays behind them, as opposed to there's no defense for the walk or the hit by pitch. So, to reverse the trend is just to go out and, find a new level of focus, or, kind of work very, very hard for the self-fulfilling prophecy to be a positive one. You got to fight the feeling of, man, I'm struggling, or I'm falling into a bad trend. And, it's difficult. It's very, very difficult, but I think it's never been a stuff issue with this staff. It's always just been, a command issue. And when it goes, it really seems to go.
Mike Mullis, ESPN Plus college baseball analyst, joining us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. We congratulated him on the Conley thing because Mike's on staff with the Conley baseball program. Hey, Mully, Sean Jenkins, kind of the interesting, it's been Jenkins, D'Lo. Well, Sunday it was D'Lo Jenkins. And so when you look at that, do you expect that, maybe not necessarily D'Lo, but maybe somebody in that mode to be? In other words, we're going to see Jenkins for the foreseeable future, you think, out of the pen?
I that was kind of, there's been multiple things said about it as it relates to, hey, Coach Kyle would say, hey, we're going to use him out of the pen, move him to the pen. But that's an interesting out of the pen, right? It's a 6-inning appearance out of the pen, almost 100 pitches, which is very, typically a start. So I don't know what their plan is, and the plan may be, hey, we'll go with him as we think we can put him in an opportunity for success, and then as the outing kind of unfolds, make the decisions on the fly. So I don't know that I've ever seen that, PJ. Obviously we've seen openers, people that are maybe one time through the lineup on the front end of a game, and then they go to the pen, and maybe any combination of 2 or 3 guys come in after. But I think interesting, a one inning opener is something that's obviously not normal. I guess it's okay to say, but I don't know. I can't figure out what the plan is for Jenkins, and I think the staff may be in the same situation of saying, hey, we're just going to take it as it comes.
Mike, it appears, and Cliff Godwin talked a little bit about the status update on Riley Johnson. And, I think it's getting, and Igo talked a little bit about this on his program, it's getting kind of close to a time where Riley, if he's going to play this season, and, he almost has to do it, otherwise he would kind of lose a year of, in other words, he could retain the year of eligibility past a certain date soon and come back next year, assuming he wants to do that. The bigger thing to me would be, with the health situation, they said he's going at 75% or he's 75%, however that was phrased. That's still not close to 100%. And I just don't know if we're late enough in the season for somebody who's had a history of some injury problems to try to stage a comeback, unless they just say, this is it. This is the last run. I don't have any desire to keep putting my body through this. And I don't know Riley Johnson well enough to know what his thoughts are on that. But I guess what I'm getting at is, how, and I realize I'm putting you in a little bit of a bad spot here, but I mean, from the coaching perspective, how do you handle that, I guess, is what, I'd be curious to get some insight into.
I think you take Riley Johnson in what Riley Johnson wants to do. In other words, if he says, hey, I'm just going to mend, and if it's the conference tournament before I'm ready, then you get him out there then and just know that, he is such a catalyst for your program. And, we've seen him around, he's been dressed, he's been present. And I know that's a good thing. The presence is obviously a positive from a guy like that, a guy who's been around the program this long. But, from a coaching standpoint, it's very individual, kind of how you handle it. And it's a guy that again, what we don't know, and you said it, does Riley Johnson already have plans for next year? Is he, if pro ball's in his future, he certainly doesn't want to be any older. If he's already got some career aspirations or something lined up, I just think there's so many moving parts that we can't know. But I think if Riley Johnson comes to you and says, hey, I'm going to be ready in, 2 more weeks, then I think you just say, hey, then 2 weeks from now, we'll get you in the lineup. And you also have that process of with the injury he's been dealing with, it's not like he's been able to take a bunch of swings. I mean, so there's going to be an acclimation period. Once he is capable of going, how good will he be and how long will it take him, if he is ever able to get back to the Riley Johnson that we all know and love?
All right. Short on time here, so I don't want to have the sun set on this. I was going to ask you about Braden Burris, but let's get a primer on the series instead. You got Rice this weekend. They've been struggling, a bizarre coaching change. They bring in the old Texas coach Pierce. Really quick, Mully, give me a thought on the weekend series.
I like the Pirates to go in there to at least win the series, and I think they should be in a position to potentially sweep the series. Rice is not great. They did get a game this past weekend from FAU, but not the Rice team that we've seen in the past, for sure.
Hey, Mike, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you again.
See you, buddy.
All right, the great Mike Mullis with us. Back tomorrow, PJ Show, and check social media for our guest lineup and also a special streaming time coming up tomorrow.